Welcome, family, to Motivation and Leadership. This is a community where we emphasize on you being the best that you can be and on you creating a better future for yourself, for our children, for the future generation, because we do not believe that leadership belongs to a few. We believe that in each and everyone there is a leader. There is something that you can give the world. There's something that you can do to make this world a better place for us and for everybody else. So welcome, and let's take this initiative today to talk about the caregivers of our children, the people who are in touch with the future generation, the people who are taking care of our children, our parents, the parents out there, the aunties out there, the guardians out there, the teachers, our domestic workers, the housekeepers, all of you. You are doing a great job, and we are so thankful for you for raising a future generation that is going to be far much better than we are right now. So when I'm going to talk about parenting, or when I talk about a parent, I am talking about all those groups of people that I've talked about right now. And the question we are supposed to be asking ourselves right now is, what are we giving our children? I know most of us are working so hard to ensure that we are giving our children a better foundation where they can start from in terms of material wealth, and so that they have a better foundation to start from, which is okay. In fact, it's the best thing that you can do for your children. But the thing is, can your children do better than that? Is just our children what they need in their life? Is it all just about formal education and wealth, or do they need more? Can your children survive and thrive in a world without you being there? Can you guarantee your children that the future generation where they're going to find themselves in is going to be a better generation than what we are right now? They're going to be in a better society than they are right now. Because no one stays in a vacuum, and no one is going to stay in a vacuum. So our children are not going to stay in a vacuum. They're going to stay in a society. They're going to stay in a generation. And what we should be asking ourselves today, are we equipping our children with leadership skills that can enable them to survive without us, to thrive without us, to be better than us? Because our children are meant to be better than us. Just the same way our parents ensured that we are better than them. Whatever they gave us was the best that they knew how. Other things we learned along the way. Because our parents brought us up in such a way that we are able to adapt and learn new things without them being around. Because nowadays we learn things without our parents being there to teach us ABCD. So the thing is, our parents, if not most, if not all of them, ensured that we are able to thrive in a society that they knew nothing about, with or without them. None of our parents knew that there's going to be a pandemic in 2020. But in a way, there's some skills that our parents instilled in us that we are able to adapt. We are able to adapt to situations that are so unpredictable. If you had a parent like that one, you need to thank your parents 100 times. Those of us who had parents who were so tough on us and we thought, oh my God, they're gonna kill me, we need to be very grateful to our parents. Our parents were teaching us to be able to thrive in a society by ourselves, on our own, without them being around. They wanted to ensure that they can be wherever they are sure that we can survive without them. that we have a firm foundation, that we can thrive in this world with all the challenges. They don't have to fear, they don't have to worry that, oh, Evelyn, wherever she is, how is she doing? What? They did that worry when we were still young. They used to ensure that we are capable of handling situations. If you had parents like mine, parents who will tell you, okay, you need to maybe cook your own food, wash your own clothes sometimes, or make sure that you have like a small project, so that if you want that dress that you really want so much, even if my parents had money, they'll tell me, raise that money for yourself, start a project. So I'll go to the shamba and do some veggies or something like that. So my parents made sure that I could survive in an environment where I am far away from them. So the question is, are you giving your children the same things, apart from the material things, the money, the wealth, the estates that you're going to give to them, everything, all that? Are you instilling in your children skills that can enable them to survive without you being around? Can you go to sleep peacefully every single night without worrying what your child ate today, or where they slept, or if they are safe, or if they are not mingling with people who are morally corrupt or socially corrupt? Can you vouch this 100% that I've given my children everything they need to thrive in a society that we don't know anything about? We don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 16 years from now, 2 years from now. We have no idea, but have you instilled in your children leadership skills that can enable them to thrive in such kind of a society, to thrive in a society that we know nothing about in the future? And now, when I'm talking about equipping your children, I'm not just talking about those people of us who have given birth, or any child that is under your care right now is affecting the future that your biological child are going to live in. So you cannot say that I am giving leadership skills to this child of mine because this is my biological child and I don't care about the other child, because every single child today is going to make the future, is going to influence how the future is going to look like. So every single thing, be you a domestic worker or a teacher or a parent or an aunt, every single child that you're coming in contact to, everything you're impacting on that child, if you're giving pain to this child, for example, this child will grow up with pain, with grudge, and he will have such negative attitude. All these things, all this emotion that you're giving to any child that is around you, that is the kind of future you're creating for your children. Because your children are not going to stay in a vacuum. They are going to stay in a future that we are creating through other children. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Every single thing we do, every emotion we are putting in the children, every skill we are putting into any child that we are coming into contact to is creating a future that our biological children are going to live in. So if the future generation is going to be morally corrupt because of any single thing you did to a child, that's the future you're creating for your children. Every single thing, if the future generation is going to be morally corrupt because of anything you did to a child, That's the future you're creating for your children, your own biological children. If we are creating a future that is socially corrupt because of a single thing that you did to a child, that is the future you're creating for your own children. These children that you're not calling not your own children, and you think that you cannot give them the best because they're not your children, they are creating a society in the future where your child is going to be part of. That is how powerful we are in creating the future. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Our leadership skills that we're instilling into our children, every single thing you're doing to any child that comes in contact with you, a parent, an aunt, even if it's just a child who is passing by, it doesn't matter where this child comes from. In Africa, they come from Asia, they come from Europe, they come from America. As long as you've given an impact to this child, any kind of impact, any kind of small impact, whatever impact it is going to influence the future where your children are also going to be part of. And you're supposed to be asking yourself, what kind of future do you want to hand over to your children? What kind of future do you want to hand over to your children? What kind of a society do you want your children to grow into? What kind of leadership skills are you handing over to these children? Are they going to survive without you being there? Are they going to survive in that future that you're creating through every child that you're coming into contact with? Every single thing you do. Because leaders, great leaders, they do not create followers. They create more leaders to take over from them. Our children are the generation that's going to take over from us. How well have we equipped them for the future? What kind of mentorship are we giving these children? What kind of future are we giving these children? What kind of leadership skills are we instilling in these children? Every single child will have an impact in the future. So if you're forcing a child to be morally corrupt, socially corrupt, spiritually corrupt, you are creating such kind of future for your own children. Are we that selfish? Or are we that unselfish? That's a question that I don't want to answer for you. I want you to answer that question yourself. Am I selfish or unselfish to my children? Am I giving them the best? Or am I giving them a corrupt world? Am I giving them a humble time for the future? Am I giving them a hard time? Am I enabling my children to survive without me? Or am I throwing my children to the world where they have to depend on other people to thrive? What am I giving the future generation? What am I giving my children? What future am I creating? From here in Motivation and Leadership, thank you so much. We believe so much in you. We believe in your potential in creating the best world, the best future for our children. And we hope that you believe in yourself as much as we do. Thank you and see you next time.